Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Sakha Nitamshtam Sri Radha Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrindam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrindam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Arjuna Sakha Prabhuji, Danut Pranams.
Pranam, Prabhu.
Can I turn on your video, Prabhuji?
Yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Danut Pranam.
Danut Pranams, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome all of you for the today's morning program, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Arjuna Sakha Prabhu, and Prabhu will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, chapter 21, titled Instructions by Mahārāja Pṛthu, and verses 23 and 24. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. So let's start with Mangalacharan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tado Jayat Madhurai. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulangayate Girim Jatkrupatamaham Bande Shri Guru Dinatarine Ashtaprayeshu Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Shivaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nastiki Sunyatam Sakatham Krishna Punyam Shravanam Kirtanam Hrudayantastva Bhadrani Vibhunoti Sahusrutam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I welcome all of you for this auspicious Srimad Bhagavatam Katha. Today we are going to discuss on 4.21, 23 and 24. The story of Sri Prabhu, your Pṛthu Mahārāja, the elevated great devotee of the Lord. And this is very, very important. Even to listen this Katha during this Pitru Paksha. We all know that we are undergoing this austerity of Pitru Paksha to please our that's our ancestor. And this Srimad Bhagavatam, this Katha is also very important during these days. This is a material benefits I'm talking about for the betterment of our ancestor. But along with this, this is a great, great story for all of us, those who are in the process of Krishna consciousness, those who are in the path of Krishna consciousness. So let's go to our very important Pṛthu Mahārāja story. May I request if Prabhu, yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.21.23. Tasya metad anusthana yan arhu brahmavadina lokasya kama shandoha jasya tushyanti drishtadri. Tasya metad anusthana yad ahur brahmavadina lokasya karma shandoha Tasya tushyanti drishtadri. Hare Krishna. Koi Mataji, if Prabhuji, anybody would like to recite, please.
Hare Krishna, lines are unmuted, so anybody can unmute and recite.
Krishna Prabhu. Tasya metanu anusthana yan ahur brahma vadina lokasya kama sandoha yasya tushyati dishtadrak. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mother. Tasya, he's me. Tasya me, mine. Tat, that. Anushthanat, by executing. Yan, that which. Ahu is spoken. Brahmavadina, by the expert of Vedic knowledge. Lokaha, planets. Shvaha, become kama shandoha, fulfilling one's desirable objectives. Yashya, those. Whose. Tushyati, become satisfied. Drishtadrik, the seer of all destiny. Translation. Mahārāja Pṛthu said, I think that upon the execution of my duties as king, I shall be able to achieve the desirable objectives described by experts in Vedic knowledge. This destination is certainly achieved by the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the seer of all destiny. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mahārāja Pṛthu gives special stress to the word Brahmavadi Naha. By the experts in the Vedic knowledge, Brahma refers to the Vedas, which are also known as the Sabda Brahma, or transcendental sound. Transcendental sound is not ordinary language, although it appears to be written in ordinary language. Evidence from the Vedic literature should be accepted as final authority. In the Vedic literature, there is much information, and of course, there is information about the execution of the king's duty. A responsible king who executes his appointed duty by giving proper protection to all living entities of his planet is promoted to the heavenly planetary system. This is also dependent upon the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. It is not that if one executes his duty properly, he is automatically promoted. For promotion depends upon the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It must ultimately be concluded that one can achieve the desired result of his activities upon satisfying the Supreme Lord. This is also confirmed in the first canto, second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. I want to repeat this particular statement, and I request all of you to be attentive on this particular statement by Srila Prabhupada. I'm repeating again. It must ultimately be concluded that one can achieve the desired result of his activities upon satisfying the Supreme Lord. This is also confirmed in the first canto, second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Ataha pumbi dvijasrishta varnasrama vibhagasha swanushtitasya dharmasya sansiddhir haritoshana. The perfection of one's execution of his appointed duties is the ultimate satisfaction of Supreme Lord. The word karma sandhoha means achievement of the desired result. Everyone desires to achieve the ultimate goal of life. But in modern civilization, the great scientists think that man's life has no plan. This gross ignorance is very dangerous and makes civilization very risky. People do not know the laws of nature, which are the ruling of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because they are atheists of the first order, they have no faith in the existence of God and His ruling, and therefore do not know how nature is working. This gross ignorance of the mass of people, including even so-called the scientists and philosophers, make life a risky situation in which human beings do not know whether they are making progress in life. According to Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.30, they are simply progressing to the darkest region of material existence. Andhargati Vishatam Tamisharam Tamasiram. The Krishna conscious movement has therefore been stated to give philosophers, scientists, and people in general for the prayer of the knowledge about the destiny of life. Therefore, everyone should take advantage of this movement and learn the real goal of life. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can we move to the next row? Thank you very much. Ya uddharet karma raja praja dharmeshu ashikhyam prajanam samalam bhunkte bhagam cha swam jahatisha. Ya uddharet karma raja praja dharmeshu ashikhyam prajanam samalam bhukte bhagam cha swam jahati saha. Mataji, Prabhuji, anybody can please recite.
So lines are unmuted. Anybody can unmute and recite.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can I do, Prabhu?
Yep, Mataji.
Ya uddaret karam raja praja dharmeshwa asikshayan prajanam shamalam bhunkte Bhagam cha swam jahati saha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. So, anyone, king or governor,
Hare
Uddharit.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ya Uttarit Karam Raja. Shall I read?
Yeah, please, Prabhu. Prabhu, please.
Ya Uttarit Karam Raja. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Ya Uddharit Karam Raja Praja Dharmeshva Ashikshayan Prajanam Shamalam Bhumte Bhagam Cha Swam.
Jahatisa. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, we can go ahead, Prabhu. I think
Yes,
some.
Prabhu. Thank you. So, anyone, king or governor, Uddharit, exact, Karam, taxes, Raja, king, Prajaha, the citizen, Dharmeshu, in executing their respective duties, Ashikhyana, without teaching them how to execute their respective duties, Prajanam, of the citizen, Samalam, impious, Bhunkte, enjoys, Bhagam, fortune, Cha, also, Swayam, own, Jahati, gives up, Saha, that king. Translation. Any king who does not teach his citizen about the respective duties in terms of varna and ashram, but who simply exact tolls and taxes from them is liable to suffer for the impious activities which have been performed by the citizens. In addition to such degradation, the king also loses his own fortune, quoted by Srila Prabhupada. A king, governed or president should not take the opportunity to occupy his post without also discharging his duty. He must teach the people within the state how to observe the divisions of varna and ashram. If a king neglects to give such instruction and is simply satisfied with the levying taxes, then those who share in this collection, namely all the government servants and the head of the state, are liable to share the impious activities of the general masses. The law of nature are very subtle. For example, if one eats in a place which is very sinful, he shares the resultant reaction of the sinful activities performed there. It is a Vedic system, therefore, for the householder to call Brahmanas and Vaishnavas to eat at ceremonial performance in his house, because the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas can immunize him from sinful activities. But it is not the duty of the rigid Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas to accept invitation everywhere. Therefore, is of course no objection to taking part in feast in which prasada is distributed. There are many subtle laws which are practically unknown to people in general, but Krishna consciousness movement is very significantly, scientifically distributing all this Vedic knowledge for the benefits of the people of the world. Thank you very much. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jainam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanstamsa Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Idam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Shahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitansa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhishya Kripa Sindhuvaevacha Patithanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauru Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamine Namine Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pasitya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity, Prabhu. And these two particular verses are very important. How to discharge the responsibility as a leader, as a king. And Pṛthu Mahārāja, being a very pious, the devoted, exalted soul, he well understands the duties and responsibility of life, particularly as a leader, as a king. And not only that, he described in these two verses the duty of the king and also what the king should not do. So the first things that he referred is that what the king should do. He talks about the king should execute the duties and also inspire the praja, the citizen, to execute their duties for what? Ultimately to satisfy the Lord. And this is not an ordinary statement for a leader. Jadat, most of the what happens, if you look at the leaders of today, they are engrossed in their day-to-day life, their own benefits, and they totally forget the responsibility. This particular responsibility is totally missing. Jajjadacharate srishta tattadeva itaro jana saeva pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. And this is ultimately, this is things that Pṛthu Mahārāja never wanted to leave anything unturned. He did all the action. He executed his duties very piously, very minutely, and also executed in very scientifically, systematically. The way the king Ban, his father, left this earth was very at miserable condition. It was at the verge of complete collapse. At least they were not having the food. The citizens were not having food. The Prithvi, the earth, mother earth, they kept hiding each and everything, starting from all the Mahoshadhi, that's the ornamental planets, the medicinal planets, the grains, all the seeds were kept hidden from Prithvi. And we all know from this story that how with meticulous endeavor and how King Pṛthu, with single pointed focus, the only objective is to how to bring benefits to the citizen. And this is how he demonstrated an exemplary system in this art. And that's why he is known as the one of the example of the kingdom, how to rule a king, how a king should rule this country. So this is probably towards the conclusion of Pṛthu Mahārāja's, because retirement time has come. He has already performed 99 of Sumedha Yajna. And finally, he was stopped by Lord Brahma. He had a darshan of Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now what remained to achieve? Now he well understood this is the time to give back to the society, teach back to the society. And it is not only the leaders, the duty to lead this organization of the society, but it is very, very important for a leader to bring everything in system and create the following leaders. And Pṛthu Mahārāja is doing the same thing. What he is doing? He is describing and advising his citizen to discharge their respective duties properly. And there is the benefit in that. What is the objective of this? The objective is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the Krishna. Ato pumvid dvija shrestha varnasrama vibhagasha swanyastitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. This is very important part. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. So let's understand. Let me share one. Prabhu, can I share my presentation, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhu. This is a short presentation and also not structured. So I'd like to beg excuses to all of you. Is it visible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Sorry. So in this presentation, will be in this two verses, we'll be understanding what is the duty of the king and what should not be the duty of the king. Let's understand the leadership perspective. Do you think that we are also leader at this point of time? Because we are, well, sometimes the king may not be available, but for the time being, let's understand we all are, as a parents or maybe as a responsible citizen, we also play a very vital role in life as a leader. For example, we are leading a family. So I'm the king of this small kingdom called family. So I'm teaching my children, my daughter, my son, my brothers, sisters, those who are kith and kin nearby me, my wife or the spouse so-called. And we are together. And as a family head, and I also discharging a responsibility of a leader that is called a king in a small kingdom called family. And what is the lesson that we can learn from King Pṛthu so that we can discharge this responsibility as a family head in our day-to-day life? This is also a very important part. So first of all, the duty of the king, as Pṛthu Mahārāja's character has depicted, number one is giving protection to the citizen. What is the protection? Ahara nidra bhayamaitvanch. At least they should get all the benefit and live comfortably without distress. So second is the betterment of the citizen. Always how the citizens will grow physically, mentally, spiritually. It is not only focused on mental or maybe prosperity in terms of the benefits, but also prosperity. He ensured that every citizen has prospered better day by day with spirituality also. That's why addressing this citizen in this particular movement is very important. What are the address that he had done? Elevate their positions for the higher planetary system. This is the amazing thing. And how he addressed this citizen, the group, that means the only objective, the Lord, the Supreme Lord, when the Supreme Lord is happy, all the duties that you are doing will be purified. Everything will be purified when Lord is pleased. And how Lord will be pleased, we all understand from Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. That means when we are offering our duties, or the fruit of the duties to the Lord will get automatically pleased. And when Lord is pleased, everything is perfect and everything is ultimately get benefited. There is no iota of any, that means bad effect, no iota of any papam, no iota of any kind of misleading things in life, because everything will get purified and perfect. And again, he reminded the citizen to discharge their respective duties. This is a very important part. It is the duty of the leader. Pṛthu Mahārāja very well knew that it is extremely important to remind the citizen. And there is definitely a background behind that. Pṛthu Mahārāja, probably it could be the hidden, that means he is expressing his hidden, the things that is deeply buried in his heart. How his family, the ancestor, particularly his father and his grandmother, caused a great sorrow to the citizen. And he probably wanted to express that particular thing in the form of reformation. And that's why he has given extreme importance to this particular thing. Remind them discharging their prescribed duty. I would like to start a very small story behind the Pṛthu Mahārāja's background. I'm going back and I'll again come back. Fine. You all know Sunita is the mother of King Bain, is the grandmother of Pṛthu Mahārāja. And Pṛthu Mahārāja knew the region of Sunita and where his father Ben came into this world like this. Sunita is daughter of Yamraj. I don't want to, you must have heard this story time and again, but I want to highlight this in a angle that how as a parents, as a leader, as a king, we should think and remind this story in our life. Sunita was a small child and the daughter of Yamraj. And we all know Yamraj is the god of death, and he is Dharma Rakshak basically. And Yamraj is engaged in giving punishment to the people, those who are not doing pious activities. And Sunita as a child could well observe what father is doing, what the servant of this father is doing, the administrator, how they are punishing people. And gradually what happened, observing all these things, Sunita started developing that kind of inclination towards punishment. And gradually, she started enjoying giving punishment to the people. But as a child, what she could do, she started beating somebody, her friends, and she was showing a very disturbed kind of behavior among his group, within his childhood group. And that became a habit for Sunita. And she started loving giving punishment to others, beating people. Well, she would love when she see people crying. And that's how she started enjoying. But unfortunately, Yamraj was so busy and he neglected Sunita's, and he neglected to giving the deep character to Sunita also. He never tried to reform Sunita in the meantime. And thereafter, what happened? As a child, as a parents, generally what we do, we get happy sometimes, observing the child is enjoying, but without understanding how the child is enjoying and what is the intent behind this enjoyment. We generally tend to neglect that part. It's a very subtle part, but we generally tend to neglect that. And Yamraj was doing that same mistakes here. And gradually, Sunita started loving for this particular subtle aspect of the life, getting enjoyment by disturbing others, by giving pain to others. And one day, a Gandharva devotee was chanting the name of Lord, and he was sitting there. And Sunita went there, and he started beating him. And out of prayer, this Gandharva saint, out of pain, he started crying, but still Sunita could not stop. And thereafter, what happened? The Gandharva cursed her. You are enjoying, and I'm crying, and you are enjoying. And what kind of girl you are? And I curse you. The Gandharva cursed her that there are two things. You'll be married to a saint. That is a saintly person. That is one thing. There's a great benefits, he has great boon given to her, because he very well knows he is the daughter of Yamraj. So you'll get married to a saint, but unfortunately, you'll be getting a great, brilliant, and very capable child, but that child will demonstrate the behavior of your sinful activities. The deeply buried character that is within you, that will get demonstrated and depicted in the character of your child. It was a big curse, and Sunita could not afford it. But when she went to Yamraj, and narrated all this aspect, how she had caused, how she was getting exalted with this, the pain of others. Now Yamraj could realize very well. She could very well understand that Sunita was a pampered child, and he could realize her mistake, his mistake particularly. How he neglected Sunita and overseen her mistakes. That was the biggest lamentation Yamraj has, but could not do anything because the cost has already been done. It has already been given. Now what happens eventually Sunita grew up, and they're looking for a groom, a suitable husband for Sunita, but everybody knew Sunita will not be getting because of this curse. And who will marry Sunita? Because see, very well, everybody knows that Sunita is cursed, and also the child will be the big problem for the society. But Sunita took the shelter of, to help of Rambha. Rambha is the Apsara of Indralok, and Sunita approached her, and Rambha was having the mystic power to captivate anybody and to mesmerize anybody with her jadoo. That means it's mystic power. And Rambha helped Sunita, and they were in search of a suitable groom for Sunita. And they went there and they found Anga Mahārāja in the jungle. And immediately Rambha applied this mystic power and they got attracted with each other. And Sunita, Rambha played a vital role in getting Sunita married to Anga Mahārāja. And you all know the story, how King Bain came into this picture. And this story was very well known to Pṛthu Mahārāja. And he wanted to remind the citizen, what is the duty? What is the respective duty must do so that you take care of everything. And finally, when you are in association of the lotus feet of the Lord, nothing can be neglected. I'm not saying that Jamraja was not associated with, but he neglected the small subtle things. And for every action that we are paying price for that. Very small things, but we paid price. Sunita paid price. The whole citizen of the country paid price. Right? So this is a great learning for all of us to how we can focus on this particular thing so that we get associated with Krishna in our respective way and associate all the duty with the Lord. Samsiddhi Haritoshanam. The ultimate objective of human being is to satisfy Lord. And this is the story that we all know, how Draupadi satisfied Lord Krishna and avoid the course of Durvasa Muni. Fine. I'll not be going to that story. And finally, he emphasized, if we can do that particular thing by satisfying the Lord, whatever we are doing, ultimately we are definitely going to get the success. Today also, we all are looking for success, right? We all are looking for great amount of happiness in our life, and also we get satisfied in achieving success. That is a human tendency and not natural way, and that should be also. But the ultimate success comes when we are associated with Krishna. Na asti buddhir ajuktasya, na cha ajuktasya bhavana, na cha abhavata santa asantasya kutah sukha. The ultimate endeavor, the objective of all the endeavors, the education, the prosperity, the day and night efforts that we are putting in, ultimately to get the happiness. But over and over, what we can see, coming as a progressive society in the material terms also, we see most of us are not happy today. Though we are progressing materially, but each and every nook and corner we can find a lot of screaming, the fighting, lots of disturbance in family and in and around. If I can hear opening my windows in and around my apartment also, you'll see a lot of screaming, fighting between husband and wife, brothers, sisters. So my God, this horrible condition. Though we can say this is a very high society, or maybe something we can say, but that is not fulfilling. So what Krishna says, this is the happiness principle. What is the happiness principle? Happiness cannot be achieved without peace. Asantasya kutah sukham. Without happiness, without peace, how can you get happiness? And without peace, that means how can we get the peace without the connectivity, without the bhava? Na asti buddhi ajuktasya. There is no intelligence. There is no intelligence if you are not connected. Nacha ajuktasya bhavana. And if you are not connected with the Lord, we cannot drive the true emotion, the bhava in our life. The bhava that we are driving in this emotionally in our material life, in our day-to-day life, that could be at the very lowest level, associated with your three gunas, contaminated with the three raja, tama, and sattva guna. But when we are associated with the Supreme Lord, the bhava is transcendental and it is beyond this contamination of the modas. That is the purification of the bhava. So when we are not connected, there is no bhava. There is no purity of the bhava. And when there is no purity of the power, there is no peace. And when there is no peace, how can we derive happiness, what we are longing for? And that is the most important part. That's why Pṛthu Mahārāja very well knew that. And he wanted to emphasize that particular thing. Stay connected, purify your bhavas, the intent. That is the intent to what? To please the Lord. Sansiddhi haritoshan. And ultimately what we'll get? You all will get benefited. And when the praja will get benefited, ultimately the king will also be more benefited. And it is a give and take relationship, right? If the praja is doing impious activities and not perform their duty, and in the next verse, what he's saying is giving an ultimatum to the praja. If you're not doing these things, what will happen? The kingdom will suffer. The king will suffer, has to pay the price because gahanam karmanam gati. The karma is very, very, very subtle and it binds everybody. Not only it will bind the praja, but the king is also responsibility for the duties and responsibility and the misdeed of the praja. That's why this is very important for a king to teach the praja, the citizen, to come to the right platform. And what is the right platform? Samsiddhi haritoshan. Jat karoshi, jat asnoshi, jat guhyoshi, dadasi jat. Jat tapasveshi tu gonteya, tat kuru tad madarpan. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever we speak, whatever that means dhanam that we are giving, whatever endeavor that you are putting, just offer it to me. And what will happen? You'll get purified. You'll get purified from the heart, from the very core of the heart. And this is the process of Krishna consciousness. This is the process Srila Prabhupada has given to us. And this is an amazing benefits that comes to the society. And Prabhupada would foresee this particular aspect and a very, very, very the bigger vision, because he very well knew if the individual are concentrated, are Krishna conscious, they will build an amazing family, the Krishna conscious family. And the Krishna conscious family together will bring a Krishna conscious community. And the Krishna conscious community will together bring a Krishna conscious society. The Krishna conscious society will together bring a Krishna conscious country. And altogether, a Krishna conscious country will bring Krishna conscious world. And that all start from the citizens that we all are. Jat karoshi, dajasnoshi. That's why starting from chapter 7 till chapter 18, Lord Krishna given this emphasis, how to stay connected. Maya sakta manapartha, yoga junyan mada ashraya, asansaya samagramam jatha gyasasi tatsram. And how we can achieve that? Pṛthu Mahārāja again emphasis. Based on the teachings of Vedas. This is the very important part. Sabda Shraddha Sabda Vishwas Kare Shuddha Nishya Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sharva Karma Krita Hai. This is the very, very penultimate, the ultimate, that means the learning from the Vedas that we are doing. This is from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shraddha is confident. Firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. And it is not talking about the devotional service. Sarva karma krita hai. This is very important. And all the activities, all you get ultimate benefit of all the duties that you are doing if you are rendering service to the Krishna and giving the ultimate result to the Krishna, to the lotus feet. And that's why Krishna is saying, Jat Karoshi, just offer it to me. The entire chapter 3 and chapter 4 is the process how to offer the activities, the result to the Lord. He has given a wonderful process in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. But again, unless these are repeatedly reminded by leaders, the praja will not take care of that. And if the king, the leader is neglecting this aspect, ultimately, the praja, the citizen will also be neglected. And that is very important in our family life also. Prabhupada very well know, if the family heads, the leaders are doing this particular aspect and with this particular intent, so that they can be Krishna consciousness, the children will follow. And Srimad Bhagavatam also quote, if the king is not giving this praja, the citizen, the association of the Lord, he is not deserved to be a king. If the father is not giving the Krishna consciousness, the devotional service to the children, he does not deserve to be a father. If the mother is not teaching, she does not deserve to be a mother. And this is very important in our life. But what? Shraddha sabda vishwas kare, sudruda nishya, Krishna bhakti kaile, sarva karma krita. And this is how our life is also centered around, how we can lead the Krishna conscious life, so that we can discharge the responsibility as a human being. So that was emphasized from starting from 7.1 in Bhagavad Gita. Maya sakta mana partha yoga junjan madasre asansaya samagramam jathagyasasi tasro. And that's what is very, very, very important for all of us to understand the nectar of Krishna Katha, the nectar of the message of the Lord in the form of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Maya sakta mana partha. Stay attached. Develop the attachment for me. Yoga junjan madasre. Get associated with me and put efforts for this particular relationship. Yoga junjan madasre. And stay surrendered. Surrender to me. Asra. Be dependent on me. Krishna consciousness, the elevation happens when we are more and more dependent on Krishna. Yoga junjan madasre. Asansaya samagrama. And what to do? And totally don't have even a iota of doubts here. Don't have any iota of doubts. And that is the power of the Vedas. That is the power of all the scriptures. And what we need to have is to have an unflinching faith on this Shastra. Unflinching faith on the Lord's message. Vedascha, the objective of all the Veda is what? Vedascha sarver ahameva Veda. Vedanta krut Veda vidarata. The penultimate objective of the Vedas, what Pṛthu Mahārāja is talking about, is to understand the Lord, to know Krishna. And that, if you do that, then we can lead a very pious life. Then only you can think how we can discharge the responsibility and Maya sakta mana partha yoga junjan madasre. We can develop that particular of interest for this inclination towards Krishna consciousness. And starting from verse 7.1 to the 18.69, Manmana bhavamat bhakto mazzazi mam namaskuru maya vishyashi nityam te pratijani priyoshime. The entire Bhagavad Gita is just to bring that particular relation stronger and stronger and stronger, so that we can discharge our responsibility or duties for this particular platform, just in this platform. Sansiddhi Haritoshanam. Sansiddhi Haritoshanam. This is the ultimate things that we have been taught by Srila Prabhupada. We have been taught by Guru Maharaj. We have been taught by all the sampradayas, and also by all this association that we are associated with. And this is very, very, very important for us, so that we can be a responsible disciple of Srila Prabhupada and responsible disciple of our Guru Maharaj, and take this movement in a higher level or different level. This is what the teachings from Pṛthu Mahārāja is doing. And finally, Pṛthu Mahārāja also talking about very important things. What not to do. We generally focus on what to do, but it's also very, very important, very extremely important also to know what not to do. And what Pṛthu Mahārāja is talking about now is talking about it is the duty of the king not to involve in grabbing more and more taxes. And so that you enjoy in that taxes. No. It is not the duty. And if you are doing so, what will happen? You'll bring in corruption to the society. The praja will be leading to mislead, to impious activities. And that will do what? Because of the impious activities, they will forget the objective of life. They will forget the samsiddhi haritoshanam. And finally, they will bring the ill effect on themselves, in the family, in the society, in the country, and finally, ultimately to the king. And when the king is getting cursed or maybe kind of things, Pṛthu Mahārāja very well know what happens to the society. It will not be a win-win situation. It will be a grievous situation. So it was the address Pṛthu Mahārāja was given at the last moment, and after performing the 99 Aswamedha Yajna, and after getting the darshan of the Lord, and this is as if he is compiling all these learnings, all his experience, and giving to the society. And what else can be given this benefit? And that's why it is very important to go to this person who is at the deathbed. In our system, generally what happens, that is done by Lord Ram also. He sent Lakshmana to where? To Ravan, to get the learning, the teachings of Ravan for the entire experience he did. Srila Prabhupada at his deathbed, the ultimate word he has given: never get associated with wrong people. Always stay connected and associated with devotees. This is the last sentence of Srila Prabhupada. And this last sentence and experience and learning is very, very important for the Praja citizens and people like us. And this also indicates how Pṛthu Mahārāja was such an elevated and exalted soul, because he's always give back to the society, giving importance to teaching back to the society, and what he did, exemplary way. And that's why the name, the earth, the mother earth is given the name of Prithvi because of this particular king, Pṛthu Mahārāja, because of the Pṛthu Mahārāja. Because Prithvi, the earth, was adopted as very well by Pṛthu Mahārāja and given the name Prithvi. And we are really, really blessed that we are learning from Pṛthu Mahārāja today. And thank you very much. And Prabhuji, thank you very much. And we can open for question and answer. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot for the wonderful class, and thanks for enlightening all of us. You have nicely mentioned the duties of king and how and what is from the story of Sunita cursed by Gandharvas, we have cautioned us as a parents. We want to see children enjoying, but we need to know how they are enjoying and what's the cause for their enjoyment. So we have, it is very subtle aspect, but we have to be very careful. And you have mentioned that if we are not connected to Lord, there will not be any purity of love. Then that means there is no peace and there is no happiness. And you have also mentioned that render devotional service and give the results to Krishna. And you have mentioned the three things as if a king does not bring his praja towards Lord, is not fit as a king. If a father is not giving Krishna consciousness to children, is not fit as a father. If a mother is not teaching Krishna consciousness to children, so she is not fit as a mother. So these are also like warnings to us, like how we have to teach our kids also. And throughout you have mentioned that how pleasing the Lord or samsiddhir haritoshnam, doing everything for the pleasure of Lord is very important. That brings the happiness in the society. And at the end you have mentioned what Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, the last words: never associate with wrong people, always associate with devotees. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. It was a really wonderful class. Now devotees lines are unmuted and devotees can unmute and ask questions or anything.
Thank you very much for compiling such a wonderful points, Prabhu. I appreciate the way that you have captured all the points. Thank you. Yeah, Prabhu, we can go to the question and answer.
Malini Mataji mentioned that thank you for excellent class and presentation.
Thank you very much, Malini Mataji. Thank you very much. I am begging blessings from you.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Thank you for the class. In the end, you mentioned that the don'ts, that a king should not impose too many taxes that will make the subjects they may go the wrong way to pay taxes. So just like this, what do you suggest for the householders? I mean, what should the parent not do? What's equivalent of this, Prabhuji?
Thank you very much for this, Mataji. And this is a wonderful correlation between taxes. What is taxes? Taxes is not just money, Mataji, we are paying. Or taxes is not the things that we are paying. Taxes comes in a very, very, very subtle way also. For the family household, the opposite of taxes is what? Dividend. Dividend and taxes. We are paying taxes because of the misdeed, and we are reaping dividend because of the good deed, right? But taxes and dividend are not in monetary and physical terms. It works in a day-to-day life in a very subtle terms as well. How it is, let's understand. What is the objective of grooming children at the home? The objective is to give them a great, upbring them and to develop the character in their life. This is the most critical aspect of the society. Bhagavad Gita, you can refer to 8.28. 8.28, Prabhupada given a wonderful explanation on that particular verse. What is that 8.28 says? It says, whatever the tapasya, dan, gyan, all things do, you get benefited out of this. The tapasya, gyan, vairagya, everything. It only get benefited with discharging the responsibility as a devotee. When you are engaged in the Krishna consciousness, ultimately everything is automatically achieved what otherwise could have been achieved in different austerity, different penance and all this stuff. So this is an amazing thing. So what does that means? It means if I'm bringing that particular things in my family, other aspect and other life of energy will be saved in a big way. And we can utilize that energy in our family life. Now comes to your question. What kind of tax that we are paying? We are taking from the child. Prabhupada given emphasis, I request all of you, or maybe Mataji, if you can read that 18.28. This is very beautiful explanation by Srila Prabhupada. The very first things that parents do is to develop the character of the child. And that's why the Varnasrama Dharma, the first things is Brahmacharya. And during that Brahmacharya, Prabhupada emphasizes the objective of the Brahmacharya is to develop the foundation, an extremely strong foundation in the deep character of the child. And when it is done, he is totally prepared for discharging a Grihastha Dharma. But if you are neglected, even that Grihastha Dharma also get neglected. What we are doing now, the moment the child is born, they'll say if a child is born, the very first thing that we are doing, how to give them the modern education, how to help him staying or her staying competitive. Each and every moment you are giving a competitive environment to go to the mass and compete, always pushing, pulling, just giving that. We're not giving them space to be in their space, in the reality. We're giving them an artificial environment so that they become more and more aggressive and stay competitive. Just to do what? Prove others that they're best. They prove others they're the best. How? If they're getting good mark, that is a proof that she is best. If he's scoring good qualification, he is proving that he is a wonderful child. No, this is what we are doing. And this is the text that we are exhorting from them. And how we can avoid that? We can avoid them by helping them connecting with Krishna, helping them getting associated with the devotee, understand that they are soul, they are human being, they are the part and parcel of the Lord, and understand the basic foundation. Thereafter, move out and understand the reality of the society. And this is a very important thing for this. And that's how we can help them and save their life also. If they are not given that direction, they'll again be in the rat race. They'll stay competitive and they will fall in the trap of that. I'm not saying that don't allow them to do that. But my point is that give them the foundation, basics to stay focused in their particular character level and also at the level of the spiritual level, and they can manage it wonderfully. And another thing, what is the subtle part of this text that they are saying? When the character is lost, they will be associated with the bad behavior, bad habits, and the bad habits will push them to in a distrusted environment, right? And they will lose huge amount of relationship that will hamper in their professional life, in their relationship life, and also they are balancing their work life area also. This is how I understand, Mataji. This is a big question, and we can discuss some other day on this particular aspect. And this is a very big question also. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hope I could answer your question properly, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. I think, you just went in depth to, make it very simple of what the right understanding should be. Thank you so much for, enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thanks a lot. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpataru vishya kripa sindhu bhaivacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Jagannath Baladev Shodramai ki jai. All glories to assembled devotee. All glories to assembled devotee. All glories to assembled devotee. Aap sab ki jai ho. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks again, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class, and thanks all devotees for